I'm cool with that.
Okay, we're going to get started here this evening. Again, I appreciate everyone for coming out tonight. We'll go ahead and start off with the first question. This is Mr. Philip Chatwood. Mr. Chatwood, tell us a little bit about yourself and describe your personal involvement within the community and schools in the past 5 years.
Okay, well, actually, let me go. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Actually, can you hear me and still hear me? Jeff, can you hear me back there? All right. I'll just go without the microphone for this one. I like to move around. I'm a transplant to Northwestern. I grew up over in Greenville, which is about an hour away from here. I went to college to become a teacher. My parents are both career educators. My father was a science teacher. My mother was a guidance counselor at the elementary level. And my wife, ironically, is a kindergarten teacher herself in Southeastern. So I am a teacher. I bring a teacher's perspective. I came to Northwestern in 2005 when I worked for the Clark County Educational Service Center. I taught an ED classroom at the middle school for 2 years. And at the same time, I coached, I was an assistant coach for the high school varsity football program. And I was also a junior high track coach here at Northwestern. So that was my involvement with the community here.
What are your motivations in seeking a position on the board, Northwestern Board of Education?
I have a belief that new schools deserve new leadership. I think that the voters and residents are entitled to not only having new buildings and new equipment, and even with the new Common Core, new curriculum, they also deserve a new leadership in the school board. So that's why I decided to run. And I had a lot of friends in this area who are dissatisfied with what they have seen and heard out of the school district at times. And I am a person of action where I think if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
What do you think the number one issue is facing Northwestern School District?
The number one issue facing Northwestern, like all school districts, is money. Funding is going to be the problem with schools until the state figures out how to fund our schools. That's going to be with us for years. We have seen the state Supreme Court has ruled school funding unconstitutional 3 times, which is a big problem. And our politicians in Columbus have found no way to address this. So we are left with a tax base that is not producing the needed funds to give our students and our teachers the tools necessary to be effective in creating a world-class education for our kids.
This question comes from the community. In words you believe we might understand, explain to us how school systems are funded.
School systems are funded right now on property tax. Our properties are assessed on tax value, on your value, and your tax based on that value. And they do the millage, which I still don't understand, even though I took a school financing course as part of my master's program when I was getting my school administration certificate a couple years back. The school finance is very confusing to me, and even my father-in-law is a school treasurer. So he tried to explain it to me once, and it's over my head. So, but what I got out of it was our property values drive the amount of income coming into our school districts. Unfortunately, being a rural country school district, we have a lot of farmland. And unfortunately, farmland does not bring in the amount of income that we would like to have here at Northwestern.
Okay, fiscal concerns are always an issue with school districts. With that said, if money was in short supply and it was necessary to make substantial cuts of the expenditures of the district, what areas would you cut and what areas would you seek to preserve?
I would be in favor of not just 1 or 2 deep cuts to 1 or 2 areas. I would be in favor of broader cuts over a large area. I say this for a couple reasons. One, I believe that everything that we're doing for the kids and the community from the schools is important. So if we were to cut one because we eliminated funding, we'd be doing a disservice to that portion of our population. And I also feel that as a community, we're hurting for school funds, so the effect should be felt by everybody. Also, by saying that, in the future, when funds come available, it is far easier to give back 1 or 2% from multiple areas than trying to reinstate an entire program that we cut due to lack of funding.
Okay. This question also comes from the community. Can you name 3 things in your life that you are committed to?
3 things that I'm committed to: my job, my family, and my integrity. My family, of course, we all are. I mean, my wife, my parents, my brothers, my sisters. You know, I'm a family man. I believe family first and foremost. My job, I believe in doing my job, whatever it is, as a coach, a teacher, community member, member of a council. I believe in doing my job, and my integrity. That is something big that I personally believe in. And if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything. So that's something I believe in. If I say I'm going to do it, by golly, I'll be out there doing it.
Many states are passing legislation to enact right-to-work laws, which changes the roles the unions play in many workplaces. What is your opinion about right to work?
Right to work is a very touchy subject, especially in the state of Ohio. I knew a couple years ago we had the issue of Senate, it was issue 5, or not correct, is it issue 5? That a lot of people voted down. Unfortunately, in our workplace, we have, at times, employers who are not committed to the workers, who are not looking out for the best interests of the workers. So there has to be something there to protect the workers, and I think that's where unions play a very positive role to fight for the rights of the employees and the employers. You know, doing the communication between the district and the teachers. And I think, one teacher acting alone can't get everything, but if they work together, especially in the state of Ohio, where we've seen some employers not look out for the best interests of its employers or employees, that can be a problem.
A board member has many responsibilities, one of which is to lobby for education. If elected, how will you lobby for education both at a local level and a state level?
I believe until the day I die, I'll always be an advocate for kids. I did not get into education to be anything else. Education is what I do. It's my family business, as I told you in my short bio. Everything I do is in the best interest of the kids, from lesson planning to finding public opinion about a certain issue. Everything I've done in my career as a teacher and as a coach has always been in the best interest of the students, and that's something that I will keep doing, even if elected as a member of the school board.
Okay, this question comes from the community. How do you feel about the extra 30 minutes added to the school day?
From what I've heard from friends of mine who have children that go to school here at the district, it is good and bad. Some parents like it, others don't. Talking to some teachers from the district, it is both good and bad. Some like it, some don't. So it is definitely a mixed bag. Me personally, if I was a teacher, I would love it. It would give me more time to interact with the kids on a non-curricular level, get to talk to them, find out what they do, what they like, find out about them. At the school I currently work for, I work for a charter school out of Columbus, and we have 30 minutes in our school day, very similar to the 30 minutes that you just added. They call it success plan. And what that is for us as teachers and success coaches at the school to work with the kids and find, get to know them a little better, see how we can help them grow, not just as students, but as young adults. So I definitely think having 30 minutes into the school day for teachers to do things with the students that is not curriculum related is definitely a bonus for the kids.
Describe a decision made by the board in the recent past that you think should have gone differently.
Talking with a lot of community members, when I was out petitioning to get on the ballot for the school board, I had a lot of the community members bring up the situation with the parent liaison, the social worker here at the district. I know that was definitely a supported position here at the school district, and I knew there was a lot of people here who wanted to see that remain. Unfortunately, the decision by the school board did not allow that to happen. So I think, personally, as a voter and as a resident, I believe it should have gone the other way. Also, as a professional educator, I think that position is needed. It takes away some of the things that a principal and administrators work on, so they can get to the actual job of being an administrator, especially today with our new assessments that our administrators have to do at the school building. They're always assessing, and getting to work with the families one-on-one was always something the principals and the guidance counselors work on. But this day and age, with all the new restrictions and regulations, it takes them to focus on the teachers. And I think when they eliminated that position, that took away a major support for the school district, between the school district and the community.
In your opinion, discuss how valuable you believe student performance on standardized tests is a means of determining teachers' competence.
As a teacher, I am mixed on that, to be bluntly honest with the question. Not all students learn the same, so not all students should be tested the same. That is my professional opinion. However, when we look to those who are making our decisions in Columbus and in Washington, that is not the case. They want to compare everybody on an equal term, so which is they go with the standardized testing. And unfortunately, with the way the laws have been going in the school districts, for school districts, in recent years, it is getting to where the test results are going to drive teacher performance. And I personally don't agree with that as a teacher, but this is the new reality that we would have to work with.
Okay, this question comes from the community as well, and this is the final question before we wrap up. The question is, I am not always sure my voice is being heard. How can you ensure me you will listen and respond?
One thing I made a point to do when I decided to run for school board was to become an advocate for the community. And by that I mean I want to hear from the community members. I want to hear from the residents of the school district. That is one thing a lot of people that I encountered so far on my journey through the campaign process is that there's not a lot of people feel their voice is being heard. I want that to change. I think that needs to change for a productive school district. I think parent and student input is definitely major in an effective school district. If we are going to succeed, I think we need to have as many school community members as possible in making the decisions. Does that mean we're always going to side with everybody? Not necessarily. But I think we need to take as much input as possible as we can get, not just from one or two, but hundreds of people throughout the community. We must have that to make effective decisions that will benefit us as a school district. And by doing that, I've come up with a plan for myself to have an open door. You can call me whenever. You can show up at my house. I'm listed in the phone book whenever. If you have a concern, by all means, people in the community are more than welcome to contact me. My wife might not like it if you call at like 11:30 at night, but I would understand, because that would be the part of the job that I was entrusted to by the voters of this district. So I also have a really cute dog that might like to play with visitors. So it's a Yorkie, about maybe 5.5 pounds.
Okay, you have about 6 minutes for final closing remarks.
Were y'all able to hear me back there, or can I go back? Should I go back and answer for the microphone?
Loud and clear.
All right. Then I believe that will do it for me. I thank everyone for your time, and like I said, if you have any questions, my name's in the phone book. I think there's maybe 3 Chatwoods in the Springfield area, just Philip and Stephanie, I believe. It's listed there. I live on Covina Drive. You're more than welcome to stop out. Thank you.